Saturday, April 13, 2024, Starview Court and Museo May affordable housing projects were built on Treasure Island's radioactive soil. These two affordable housing projects were constructed in 2022 in the footprint of former Naval Station Treasure Island's radioactive Starburst Barracks. The Navy's Starburst Barracks occupied the space at the Red Circle in 2014. This Google map shows the Great Lawn and two affordable housing projects, Starview Court and Museo May, superimposed over a map of the radioactive Starburst Barracks demolished in 2016 to make way for the redevelopment project. Starview Court was built in the exact same spot and named after the Starburst Barracks.
What's the history here?
A short history of the radioactive Starburst Barracks and Great Lawn on Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay. During World War II, Naval Station Treasure Island held 855 German POWs in a prisoner of war camp that sat on the Great Lawn facing San Francisco from July 1945 when it opened until a year later, April 1946, when it closed. The German prisoner of war camp was located about here.
Is the Golden Gate Bridge on the other side of that tree.
I am shooting across what was known then as the Great Lawn. It's now a huge construction zone. In the 1950s, the Navy built a small barracks in order to house sailors on the Great Lawn close to the shore on San Francisco Bay. In July 1956, a few blocks west, the Navy built a fake ship where sailors were taught to use radioactive material. To handle nuclear attacks, sailors were trained to wash cesium-137 radiation from the deck of the Pandemonium into the soil at Gateview Avenue, where Pandemonium 1 was first built. Here's a photo from an original Navy document, the Bureau of Naval Personnel Information Bulletin, of the landlocked mock training ship Pandemonium 1 at 12th Street and Gateview Avenue on the bay facing San Francisco in July 1956. The USS Pandemonium 1 was actually a building the Navy constructed to look like a ship where they trained sailors. It was landlocked on the southern part of the island where the Navy later built homes along Gateview Avenue. Sailors were trained to use radioactive material on Pandemonium 1. They brought radiation back to the barracks on their clothes and shoes. In the 1970s, the Navy built two huge white asterisk-shaped structures called Starburst Barracks at the front of Treasure Island facing San Francisco Bay.
Look like a starburst from above there, or like an asterisk. I've done a lot of videoing of the Starburst Barracks, and always I'm so sad to see that the trees have been taken out. It was beautiful when the trees were there. Walking under those trees, you can see the way the light shines and the shadows of the trees. It was a lovely walk.
These were the Starburst Barracks on Tuesday, April 15, 2014, before they cut down the trees.
This is what it looks like in the Starburst Barracks. Monday, January 26, 2015.
A year and a half before the trees were cut down. Notice the intensity of the wind. There's the sculpture of Bliss Dance in the distance. In 1969, Pandemonium 1 was moved to the side of Treasure Island facing Berkeley, where it was renamed Pandemonium 2.
In the 70s, they took that fake ship that was a building that they used to wash the radiation off of, and they moved it around to the opposite side of the island. If we could follow the sight of the camera all the way to the other end of the island, we'd be looking straight at where they put the building when they moved it, and they called it Pandemonium 2.
This is a photograph of the USS Pandemonium 2 after they moved it to the north side of the island facing Berkeley.
And they continued to use it as a training operation for washing radiation off the hull into the soil and the groundwater.
Sailors also brought back to the barracks on the Great Lawn radiation on their shoes and clothes. The Navy had other barracks in this spot before they built the Starburst barracks here.
By that time, they had torn down the barracks on the Great Lawn here. And the sailors that came back from doing their day's work at the Pandemonium 2 came to the Starburst barracks, which they had built by then. The barracks that were on the Great Lawn in the 40s and 50s, they tore them down, and then in the 60s and 70s, they had the Starburst barracks. And the same thing happened. They dragged the radiation back to the Starburst barracks on their shoes, on their clothes, and they lived there.
Before the Starburst barracks were constructed, the Navy had smaller barracks on the Great Lawn. In 1950, the worst radium spill in island history occurred. In Building 233 on the Berkeley side of the island, a test tube holding radium salts was dropped on a lab floor. This accident wasn't discovered until sailors had tracked the radioactive powder on their shoes to the barracks on the Great Lawn.
So those buildings not only are full of asbestos and mold, they're also radioactive.
During a 4-year run that ended in August 2015, Marco Cochran's 40-foot sculpture called Bliss Dance whirled on the green swath of grass called the Great Lawn that stretched next to the two asterisk-shaped Starburst barracks.
I'll have to find out who the artist is and the sculptor is. Oh, look, there's Bliss on the back of, oh, Bliss, okay, Bliss on that sign.
In August 2016, the Navy announced scheduled demolition work would begin September 1st, 2016, on a total of 4 Starburst barracks removals, demolitions of the twin buildings Sage Hall and Cosson Hall, and 2 excavations of the soil beneath them. In this video, Dave Clark, the Navy's Environmental Cleanup Project Manager, drove me past the Starburst barracks just before they were demolished in 2016.
Let's go through the parking lot for you.
Okay. Yeah, that reminds me of my college dorm.
Well, it
Quite
was.
frankly.
It was the
Yeah.
enlisted quarters.
Yep. Actually, the design of that, I think was very creative. Now it looks horrible, of course, but
Oh, the same design.
the design was
Hotels in
interesting.
Vegas are like that. They kind of have a central axis and they go out from the middle.
See the sailors running down those metal stairs and the stairs clanking. Hi.
What are those yellow flowers, Dave? Pretty.
Clover.
Huh.
Yeah, you kind of got a nice little season for. Yeah, spring is early because
I don't know what I'm getting.
the plants don't know what to do with this weird weather.
It's true. I mean, the Midwest is still buried in snow right now. It's very strange. Yeah. A lot of homeless people stay in there, or have tried to.
They have tried to. Yeah, it's pretty secure at the moment.
Is it? I know somebody who was in there within the last year, and they got a flesh-eating disease and ended up in the hospital. So, I mean, it's very dangerous to be in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go in there and hang out. Right?
Well, you know, if you're homeless, you're desperate for anything. So, yeah, it's
Do you want to take some still shots? Or are you good?
sure. I don't want to get out though.
Okay,
It's
well
too
then,
time consuming. I can just sit here and do still shots. I can do still shots while the video's running.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So,
That's great. Yeah, thanks.
because you get both buildings here, so you can do 1, 2.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Actually, you can see the buildings better without the trees. So,
You have to look at my videos of this place with the trees. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. I love the trees. Nice shadows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're done.
we're done.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
For all the foregoing reasons, Starview Court is radioactive. People should not live there.